Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Tonight, Ecuador needing to get 3 points after losing their opener at the World Cup. Could Curacao hold on for their first ever World Cup point? To the big European powers in action. One dominant, one tested. We'll tell you how Germany and Netherlands got on. And we look ahead to Sunday's action. Spain, Belgium, and Uruguay hoping to get wins after draws in their debuts. Those stories and more tonight on Scoreline.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. With the entire nation hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion!
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
And welcome into Scoreline on the Golazo Network alongside the former Sierra Leone international Michael Lahoud and, of course, alongside the former U.S. international Marcelo Balboa. I'm Chris Whittingham as we welcome you in here to our Golazo Network studios, coming in off the back of an incredible result between Ecuador and Curacao. Curacao, who entered this World Cup for the first time, a tiny island nation with a population of around 150,000, managed to get their first ever World Cup point, a 0-0 draw against Ecuador. It was an extraordinary match, guys, in which the goalkeeper for Curacao, Eloy Room, made 15 saves to preserve this result. from your vantage point and watching what he has done here. The second most saves in a World Cup match ever, behind, of course, Tim Howard's 16 against Belgium. He actually has previously saved 15 shots before in a match for Curacao at the Gold Cup in 2019 against Honduras as well, in a clean sheet. What did you guys make of this absolutely crazy game in which Curacao hit their first ever World Cup point?
Yeah, look, this has been a tournament of goalkeepers, in my opinion. We saw Patrick Beets do it for Australia's and the Aussies in that improbable win over Turkey. And then we saw Vozinha, at 40 years old, stand on his head against Spain to make history for Cabo Verde. Now we're seeing Eloy Room do it in his own fashion. Incredible to see, just in the first half alone. I counted, it was 6 saves he had in the first half alone, which is the most of any player at this World Cup, any goalkeeper in one half at the FIFA World Cup. But it wasn't just him doing it on his own. I think he had a lot of help from his back line. This was a well-drilled and well-oiled Curacao machine. And we talked about this, Cello, that when you defend from the back, or when you're one of the minnows, you have to get that confidence going. And it comes from good goalkeeping and then being solid defensively. Then you can start to get the confidence in the midfield and the attack.
Yeah, I like the fact that he's 15 saves, most in a World Cup game that didn't go into extra time. I like that stat. Very well done. You know, we talked about it at the beginning. Finish your chances, right? Because you're not going to get a lot of them. Valencia had an opportunity to put that game away in the first 3 minutes. He didn't put it in the back of the net. There's a reason why defenders don't get paid much, because in order to win a game, you got to score goals. And the hardest position is always to find a guy that can put the ball in the back of the net. I'm not sure Valencia is the guy anymore. Just watching today's game, watching the way he played, his movement, he's in by himself. He couldn't put it past the keeper, and all respect to the room, because he had a fantastic day. But this is a team that doesn't score a lot, Ecuador. They defend very well. They move the ball well, but they have a hard time with the last pass. They have a hard time finishing. So when you go to Curacao, you say, you know what? Well done. Well done. You defended, you were disciplined, you chased, you ran. There were guys at the end cramping. There were guys you could just see them physically dead. But they did the job. They got their point.
Yeah, there was a small period we see here on the momentum chart around the 30th minute when Curacao came very close to getting the goal in this game as well. Enter Valencia, as you said, Marcelo had such a big chance in the first 2 minutes to get that opener. He didn't take it. There were all sorts of chances, all sorts of saves, all sorts of moments. But in the end, for Curacao, a nation like this, to get this result, I mean, there was, all this talk after they shipped 7 to Germany about, should they even be here, the expanded format, all that stuff. And here they are delivering against a South American nation their first ever point. What would this mean to them to have achieved this after taking that hiding against Germany in the first game?
Yeah, I come from a small country in Sierra Leone, and I really see myself in this Curacao team. I see some of my former teammates. We have one in the building, in Kai Kamara, in this Curacao team. And you can only go as far as quality coaching. And that's why I'm a big advocate for getting the right coaches on the international stage. And Curacao, they have an experienced coach in Dick Advocat. I know that they would not have gotten this result without his experience, without his poise, without his calm demeanor. And it just caught my eye that before a ball was kicked in the presser, they asked him, what's your approach? What's going to be your mentality in this match against Ecuador? And he said, we're going to make them work for every single ounce of quality that they do have in this team. But we're going to push them. And it really showed that they didn't back down from Ecuador. And we were looking in the first 20, 25 minutes when we were watching the game, and we were saying, wait, they're pressing Ecuador. They're making life a bit unbearable. And if it wasn't for Eli Room snuffing out the likes of Enter Valencia, you could say that in the first 15 minutes, it was Curacao being on the front foot a bit and making it a bit uncomfortable and making the likes of Pierre Nkapie, the likes of William Pacho look ordinary at different times. But full marks to Advocat and full marks to the team because they defended well. They showed a resilience that I don't think any person, unless you're a betting man or betting woman in Vegas, who if you put plus 800 on it, you're making a lot of money tonight.
Yeah, on a 0-0 draw, absolutely incredible.
We're going to betting. I don't know if
we lose you there. By the way, when you described yourself as a big advocate for coaching, you were this close to getting the pun right of an advocate for Advocat. it was right there for you. But Cello, for a nation like this to get a point at the World Cup, we saw the fans that were crying during the national anthem before a game they lost 7-1. Now they have something tangible that they lead this World Cup with. And I think anyone who watched that game tonight we'll see a country that gave an incredible account of themselves in going in both directions. Because as you say, they had moments going forward as well. They pressed them, but then they did the thing that every minnow has to do in a game like this, which is defend for their lives and have a goalkeeper turn in a great performance. And they got everything right, which we saw from Cabo Verde in their match against Spain.
You know, when we talked about the extended format, everybody was a little concerned. I was concerned. I think we all were at first to see. Completely wrong. Completely wrong, because you know what? You are going to have blowouts. Big deal. You had them when Germany beat Brazil, right? And no one said anything about that. There hasn't been but one, really. And when you look at this format and you look at the heart and soul, you look at Curaçao's fans in tears celebrating, that's what the World Cup's about. That's what it's about. They're celebrating their country. They did something that no one thought they were doing. If you're betting plus 90, I don't know what you do. What a plus 100, I don't know what you would put down. But it just it makes the heart happy to see a team like this give everything they had and get a result. They got a result. They're celebrating. And when we talk about cultures coming together, we talk about everything you want in a World Cup. That was it. Between Cabo Verde and this, that's what we want. We want to see those kind of teams succeed, play well, and when they walk off the field, there's a brotherhood. They're much tighter now than they'll ever be for this next game.
And now, looking ahead here in this group, with Germany having beaten Ivory Coast as well, we'll get to that game a bit later on. Ecuador now on just the 1 point, and they're going to need to beat Germany in the final game of the group if they are to advance. Given the profligacy in front of goal, it is going to be a mountain to climb for them to beat Germany. You will say, though, they are now confirmed Germany as group winners. They have the head-to-head tiebreaker over Ivory Coast. So they can maybe make a lot of changes to their starting 11, so Ecuador could face a weakened Germany. But would you give Ecuador any chance of getting through with only the 1 point they had before they played Germany?
I'm very worried for this Ecuadorian national team right now, because I think they're staring elimination right in the eye. They're staring it right in the face because there's an inherent lack of quality in the final third. You mentioned Enner Valencia. I'm actually going to point and put the microscope on a player that I was really disappointed in today and also in the previous match against Côte d'Ivoire. Where's Moises Caicedo? Moises Caicedo, a player that we proclaim as one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. He got bossed in the second half against Côte d'Ivoire. And apart from one of the passes, I think he played the pass over the top or through the lines to Enner Valencia, I didn't see enough personality from him. This is a big moment for the Ecuadorian national team. It's a massive moment for Moises Caicedo. I know he signed the big deal, signed the contract extension for Chelsea. That's the player that they need to step up. I know that the quality in the final third is a big question, Cello, but I look at him in particular, and he is symptomatic of the lack of personality and leadership that's in this Ecuadorian side right now.
I thought he did well against Ivory Coast, right, in the first game, because there was room. Curacao dropped back into a low block. Where was he going to play? You know, there wasn't room for him to do what he likes to do. I was more disappointed in Plata. He didn't really do much. I mean, for me, when you start talking about, we can go down the list of players, and it was okay. Their balls go in the box. They're jumping for him. Great. But at what point, I never felt like they were dangerous. Caicedo should have gotten the ball and run at players. But this is a team that doesn't give up many goals. We've seen that. The only time they've scored 3 goals was against Guatemala in a friendly before the World Cup. Was that a real test for them playing?
No.
Not really. So when I look at this, they tied Morocco, they tied here, they tied there. This is a team, I told you at the beginning, when you get one chance, they have to bury it, because they're not a team that can get in there and create a lot of chances and finish a lot of chances. So I look at this team and I think there's one big problem. They defend well, but you need someone that can feed the ball, and Valencia needs to finish, or at this point, you got to try somebody else.
And, Cello, obviously, as a former defender, you would say that defense wins championships. But for Ecuador, their problem has been scoring goals. If you look at their last 15 games, they've drawn 10 of them. 5 of them have ended 0-0, and 5 of them have ended 1-1. So they're not even score draws. And so it's one of those things where we looked at their defensive record before the tournament, because defense wins championships. But I think in some ways you overlook the fact that this is a team that that is anemic in front of goal, and it might end up costing them a spot in the knockout round, which is shocking.
Listen, defenses win you games and win you tournaments. So when I see what Curacao did tonight and Cabo Verde does, I do. You know what? I salute. I salute that.
As a member of the Defenders Union?
No, I'm serious, because you know how hard we've played teams where you pack it in and you just pray and your goalkeeper has a great day. We block shots. They did a little bit of that, but God, they were good in their counterattack. They made me like, okay, I'm off my chair going, okay, here we go, let's go. You know what I mean? So it was good.
Let's not forget, Woody, that this game, for as many shots and opportunities as Ecuador had, it could have all gone to waste because Juninho Bacuna, I don't know who he spun, but whoever he spun needs to go to the hospital and get their knees checked, because that was one of the highlight moments of the game.
Yeah.
And you could
just see so close to getting the goal.
You could just see the whites of every Ecuadorian fan's eyes. I feel for the Ecuadorian fans that traveled all the way to the middle of America today.
Who played a great atmosphere in Philly and today in Kansas City were awesome.
Yeah, but you got to say, listen, they didn't play bad. They didn't play. They just couldn't finish. They controlled it. If you watch percentages, they dominated possession. Okay.
Yeah, dominated shots, every statistic.
They had everything. So they played well. But again, in our sport, you have to score to win. If you can't score, you're not going to win. They can't score right now. There's a jinx around their goal. We've seen it hit the post 3 times. They're in behind. The touch is wrong. So when things aren't going your way, this is where you need a Valencia to put this team on its back. I got this. They don't have that. Holland can do that for Norway, can he not?
Yeah.
Holland does it.
It's a bit beyond Valencia, 37 years old now, to ask him to do that. But either way, it's a 0-0 draw for Ecuador against Curacao. They have to beat Germany in their final game of the group in order to advance to the next stage. Much more on the Golazo Network is coming your way.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad in my camp.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
A look at the results on this Saturday of the World Cup. Netherlands 5, Sweden 1, Germany beating Ivory Coast by 2-1, and then the headline maker, Curacao, getting their first ever point at the World Cup, drawing 0-0 with Ecuador in Kansas City. And on his way across the great United States is our very own Nico Cantor, is going coast to coast on his way from Seattle down to the heart of Texas. Nico, where do we find you, and how's the ride going?
Guys, it's actually going pretty well. You're finding me in the southeastern corner of Colorado.
Yeah,
just
baby!
Bombing down a highway. Cello, pretty close to your house, man. And then from here, you know, we kind of just cross into the border of Oklahoma. It's pretty tight. It's a small border from Colorado to Texas. We stop in Amarillo, Texas for maybe like a quick, I think they're cleaning the RV, and then straight to Dallas. So we should be in Dallas for tomorrow's Argentine Banderazo, the rally that the fans usually do before game day, at around 6 a.m. So only 9 more hours to go.
Yo, buddy, I'm curious. You're traveling. What did you do today? What happened? What exciting things did you do today?
I mean, I watched all 3 games seated on that couch. I drank too much mate. I think an unhealthy amount of mate. I'm trying to not drink so much mate close to bedtime, so I really had to pull it back. And then, you know what killed me? We were really bored in those 2 hours. Today we had 2 hours before the Ecuador game just now. And we had to play trivia. It actually went really well. We just had to find ways to stay entertained. That was kind of like a zoomed-in picture. Guess what World Cup that was? You guys will see it on socials. If you see right behind me, you see that goalkeeper? We played penalty kick shootout. Like I drew a goal. I drew a goal, and we have like a little sticky thing, and we tossed it at the whiteboard, and you had to get a clean shot onto the goal, and it touched the goalkeeper or the post or anywhere else. It didn't count, and we did. And you had to beat everybody on the bus, and I was World Cup champion of penalty kick shootout.
That was top bins. Awesome. That's class.
Crazy! Look at that. That was crazy.
Nico,
that was the best shot of the night, and that was to win it.
Nico, it's good to see you again, and I'm glad you're going back to my former state, the great state of Texas, deep in the heart of Texas. I know actually you were in Texas, I think, for the Nations League or one of the big games there.
Yeah.
Where you had the cowboy hat. Did you bring the cowboy hat?
No, man. Good question. I'm gonna have to buy another one. Everything's bigger in Texas.
Would be great. It would be great to go get another cowboy hat for you. Now, Nico, let's talk a little bit about the matches that you saw today. I guess we can start first with that Netherlands-Sweden game. And Netherlands responding well after that 2-2 draw. They kept going after getting the goals, which was not really the case in their match against Japan.
Whoa. Sorry. We hit a bump in the road. Yeah, great from the Netherlands. Extremely poor from Sweden. I thought their game plan, it showed a little bit how out of depth their manager was at this level, right? Let's remember, Sweden was a team that didn't qualify to the World Cup via World Cup qualification. Instead they did it via their Nations League placement. And I think this is one of the knocks on the expanded World Cup. Sure, Netherlands beat a really poor Sweden team. I don't want to be bullish on any team 2 games in. I don't think you can at the World Cup. But you play World Cups in crescendo, right? From here to here. And Netherlands are definitely on track to do that. But Sweden were terrible.
Let's move on to Germany. I'm curious what your thoughts are. I heard a lot of people talking about Germany, and they're still not one of the favorites, but they pulled it out at the end. This is a team that I think keeps getting better and better every game. What'd you think?
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I think that game against Curacao, I take it with a grain of salt just because of the difference in opponent, although they were formidable today against Ecuador. But in that match, it felt like the lights were too bright for them. So I'm not using that game as a measuring stick for Germany. Maybe more this game against Ivory Coast that they easily could have won at Ivory Coast. If Simon Andingra hits that counterattack first time, we could be talking about a 2-1 Ivory Coast win, and those are the differences at the World Cup. And again, Germany is one of those teams that slowly, perhaps they're even starting to believe, because building up until this World Cup, I don't even think Germans themselves believed in this team. And isn't it quite ironic that the guy at the center of a lot of controversy pre-World Cup, which was Dennis Undav, a guy that was criticized by his own national team manager, Julian Nagelsmann, saying that Undav wasn't good enough, is the guy that's the top goal scorer for Germany at the World Cup. So if their house is in order, I think Germany can even surprise themselves and their own fans, because they are a historically big nation. And I'd like to see them keep growing to test the few nations that I'm a little bit more convinced about, because I'm only convinced about just a few.
Now, Nico, when you talk about big nations, you know one big nation in particular, Argentina. You went to a watch party, you hung out with Argentine fans, and, you know, when you think of that moment, what did that moment mean to you to see the fans singing, and what are you looking forward to as well when you make your way to Dallas?
Yeah, I think that's standard, right, for Argentina. Anywhere you go in the United States, you can find pockets of Argentines. I was actually surprised the watch party was that crazy for Argentines in Seattle. That was crazy scenes. But what I've realized, Lahoud, traveling this country, it's the same Brazil effect that happened when I was a kid. All over the United States, you would find fans that were wearing Brazilian t-shirts and shirts of the national team that weren't Brazilian. And we're seeing that case with Argentina now. There's a lot of people in this country that support Argentina because of the national team, and it's incredible to see. I wasn't in Kansas City, but my family and friends that were in Kansas City, they said that there were so many Argentines, but so many people with the Argentine jersey that weren't Argentine, but that feel that palpable energy. It's contagious from the Argentina fans. And tomorrow, just stick around on our socials and everywhere that you watch Golazo, because we're going to the Banderazo. The Banderazo, if you don't know, is the rally that Argentines gather together in masses. Everybody that sacrificed everything to be in Dallas, Texas, first in Kansas City, and then make the travel. Mind you, this is a country with a historically struggling economy. The peso, now it's tied to the dollar, but it can only get you to a certain extent. A lot of these people are giving up a lot from their personal lives to be here, either jobs or life savings, XYZ, for their love for the national team. In Argentina, they call it a sickness, una enfermedad. We are sick for football. And I'm getting to meet them in this American iteration of the World Cup. I got to experience it in Germany, in South Africa, in Brazil, in Russia, in Qatar, and it never failed. And this time, I have a feeling it's going to be extra special just because of the diaspora of Argentines in the United States. I know it was special in Kansas City from what I heard, and after Messi's performance, I expect it to just get taken up a notch, as it does every level Argentina progresses.
Well, enjoy it, Nico. I'm sure it'll be a really emotional and fun experience for you out in North Texas, where they play on Monday against Austria. Thanks for joining us here on Scoreline.
Thank you, guys.
And that is Nico Cantor as he goes across the country from the Pacific Northwest down to Texas. More Golazo Network coming up.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now.
Open your eyes. Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it? The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad in my camp. What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
This is Scoreline, covering some of the notable results from Saturday's action at the World Cup. The Netherlands beating Sweden by 5-1. Braces from Brian Brobby and from Cody Gakpo, with Crescencio Somerville adding another. Sweden getting their lone goal through Anthony Elanga. Germany 2-1 winners over the Ivory Coast. It was a stoppage time winner for Dennis Undav, his second of the game, coming off the bench for Julian Nagelsmann's side. And Ecuador drawing 0-0 with Curacao, one of the shock results of the tournament so far. But guys, let's focus on some of these big European teams. Let's start first with the Netherlands, who played reasonably well against Japan. They were 2-1 up in the second half and then give up a late goal. And I think a lot of people were criticizing the manager, Ronald Koeman, for a conservative approach. There was nothing conservative about the manner in which they scored 5 goals today.
Yeah, look, full credit to Ronald Koeman for not taking the foot off the gas. I thought he was a bit kind of premature in how not only he took out Crescencio Somerville, who scored in that game. The game completely changed when Somerville came out against Japan, but questions had to be asked about the fact that he moved to a back five, almost ceding pressure and inviting pressure in on the Japanese and then on his own goal. And this was a match that was a statement performance from the Dutch and a statement performance from this front line. And these are the front three that Koeman came out with in the second half. I thought he was right to take out Daniel Malen, because as good as Daniel Malen was going forward, I had a lot of concern about his lack of commitment coming back defensively. There was a span where Sweden grew in after the hydration break, and a big part of that was that Daniel Malen did not respect the assignment, that if you're going to play as a winger at the World Cup, you have to track back. Now, a lot of people are going to talk Cody Gakpo, and I'm sure we're going to get to him a bit. Brian Brobby, I thought he put on a just clinical display of what it means to be a target center forward and to be a number 9 at the World Cup level. But the player that I was really impressed with is Crescencio Somerville. I know he was relegated with West Ham. I know there's a lot of Premier League clubs and clubs around the world who could use wingers. I'm going to put one club out there. If you're a team like a Liverpool.
LA Galaxy?
But if you're a team like a Liverpool, you have to put Crescencio Somerville on your radar, because you lost Mohamed Salah. You need someone to come in. You get Victor Munoz, but he can play on the left. He's Premier League proven. And for him to now etch his name in history, and I couldn't believe the names that he was grouped with and the impact he's had in this World Cup. He's just the third player for the Dutch national team in their history to score in his first 2 World Cup appearances. Cody Gakpo did it in 2022. Memphis Depay did it in 2014. So you talk about instant impact and instant impression. He was the player that really caught my eye.
The orange machine's back. I love it.
Already?
Yeah, you know what? That's what we were expecting to see the first time. So I'll say this. I think tactically, Sweden got it wrong. I think that when you have a front three like that and you're trying to go toe for toe and you're allowing space behind, that's what the Dutch want. They want to be able to get in behind you. They want to be able to let their horses run. And they ran today. Let's be honest, they ran. That's the best I've seen the Netherlands in a long time. So for me, Sweden makes me a little concerned now. Defensively, a little shaky. But I felt that they came out with a different attitude today. Not the same kind of relaxed kind of attitude the first game. This is what I expected to see the first game. They came out, they were knocking, they were moving, they were going forward. It wasn't just back and forth, the Van Dijk to the goalkeeper to the left. It was a little boring last time. This is what I expect to see. When I saw them play and I saw the result, I thought, okay, now I can believe this team can repeat. It can get back to a semifinal. It can get to a final and maybe win it.
Well, if you look at their current situation, they're actually a bit unlucky as the current group winners of Group F because they face a runner-up, and that runner-up would potentially be Morocco in the next round, which is where it currently stands. They will face the runner-up of Group C, so they could potentially have a difficult matchup in the round of 32, which takes us into Germany, who are not only confirmed as through to the next round, but confirmed through to the next round as group winners after they get that late winner against Ivory Coast. They beat Ivory Coast by 2-1. And guys, you mentioned Dennis Undavi comes into this one off the bench as he did in the first one. He's got 3 goals, he's got 2 assists, and he is performing. We talked about this sort of notion that the manager of Germany, Julian Nagelsmann, has criticized him as maybe not being a player good enough for the level, and yet here he is performing. Do you feel like with him in the team, as opposed to Kai Havertz, with a more of a player thinking about goal scoring rather than setting up other players, but he does have the 2 assists, that Germany looks different, that Germany looks better?
I think for Germany to be a serious contender to do anything of note at the World Cup, and by anything, I don't mean get to a quarterfinal. I mean have serious ambition. Dennis Undav needs to be starting football matches for the German national team. And I know there's 2 thoughts into it. And Nagelsmann actually came out after the game, and he said, look, we're looking at this, and we're going to really consider whether he should be a starter. Now, there's one camp that could say, okay, he's made an impact as a sub. I think already he's tied Roger Miller for most just goal involvements at the World Cup as a substitute, which is incredible because I'm a big Roger Miller fan, someone who you know very well from 1990 and who had a massive impact on the world stage.
I was just a baby.
You were just a baby? Remember. Oh, I was actually a baby. I can prove that with both passports. But when I look at Germany, I think we're asking the wrong question. I don't think it's Kai Havertz or Dennis Undav. One player that does not belong on the German national team to start is Leroy Sané. If you're Julian Nagelsmann, the best opportunity to win matches in the knockout round, Kai Havertz is your number 9. He's going to start no matter what. Dennis Undav underneath playing as your second striker. That is where he plays for Stuttgart. That is where he's made his goals for Germany. Jamal Musiala, move him out wide right to play in for Leroy Sané, like we saw at the European Championship where Germany got to the quarterfinal. Florian Wirtz on the left, and the main man that not enough people are talking about for Germany, that I thought stole the show today, was Felix Metsche. Complete midfield display.
Who's great in the opening game as well.
Was incredible in the opening game, and a player who's going to go for big money should he want to leave Borussia Dortmund. So the pieces are there, but the coaching decision and the team selection has to be there for Germany to be serious, and that falls on Nagelsmann.
Yeah, I never question a coach because it's never my job. I'm not going to lose my job by saying this, you know what I mean? He's got to look at what best fits. Ungag now, coming off the bench, may work for them right now. You know, the legs are tired, he's running up. But listen, the second goal, the way he got it, in between that space, turned and hit it, that's world class.
It was so quick, too. It just happened out of nowhere, just in a flash. They were struggling, and then bang, bang, all of a sudden it's 2-1.
But there you go again. Line steps up, one guy stays back, he's looking over his shoulder, he's onside, but the ability to know where you're at, the swivel of the head, the turn and the hit, not an extra touch, a hit to bury it. So I agree, you could go that way, you can go whatever. I just feel when you're a coach, when you got Havertz, good player. He does create things. He floats a little bit. He's not a typical 9. We know that. But, again, you got to have somebody that's always going to come off the bench. And I know, play your best players. I know every coach says play your best players. But at this point, I mean, if it's working right now, I don't see much of a change. You know what I mean? And Sané, I agree, but the pace he has, The problem is it's very difficult, and it's so much different. I heard people talking today about, well, in a club team, screw the club team. You play different. You play different. This is the national team.
Yeah.
Teams play you differently. They drop into a low block. They drop you into a mid block. They foul you. They kick you. There's no room unless you're a Messi or a player like that can maneuver through places. Tell me where Ecuador, was there room today?
No.
Ivory Coast, when that game opened up, what a game. Germany, they went back. But again, it went back to a low block. So there's no room. So you got to find that player that can come in and make that difference. And I think Ungat can.
Yeah, and for Germany, though, you mentioned sort of what the expectations are. They're on a collision course. If they win the group and France win their group, they would play in the last 16 in Philadelphia, which a German exit in the last 16 sounds disappointing, but if it's to France, I mean, it's tough. It's a tough opponent.
Yeah, Woody, one thing that if they were to play France, you talk about a matchup of the ages. Nico Schlotterbeck is out injured.
Yeah, that's a big one.
We're waiting to see what the reports are, but he could be out for the remainder of the World Cup. What a redemption arc that would be for Antonio Rudiger to go up against his Real Madrid teammate in Kylian Mbappe. That is going to be a physical matchup, and now that's if they get there.
Of course.
Everything says Germany has the pieces to get to that match. They just got to prove it.
It's got to play a game. You never know.
Yeah.
Anything can happen in a game.
And they would play a third-place team in the round of 32 right now, courtesy of my as-of table. It's Scotland that they would play in the next round. So with, of course, the U.S. in this incredible run at the World Cup, we should tell you that there is tons of U.S. soccer content available on Paramount+, beginning with the $1 billion goal scored in 1989 by Paul Caligiuri, which set forth this modern era of American soccer, plus a series on Clint Dempsey, You Don't Know Where I'm From, Dog, and, of course, Pulisic, our docu-series on the current star of the national team.
You guys know where I'm from, Dog. You guys say dog.
No, I'm from, Dog.
You don't know where I'm from.
From Dog.
Yes, the emphasis on Dog, of course. All that is available on Paramount+. Much more Golazo Network is on the way.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now.
Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount+.
I lost my dad and my aunt. What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
what's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Looking ahead to the action on Sunday at the FIFA World Cup. It all begins at noon in Atlanta with Spain taking on Saudi Arabia, followed by Belgium against Iran in Group G, Uruguay and Cabo Verde in Group H, and the business concludes at 9 p.m. with New Zealand taking on Egypt after they drew their opener with Iran. All teams in Group G currently on 4 points. Let's talk about some of the results for teams that we expected a bit more from in the opener. Spain, of course, drawing 0-0 with Cabo Verde. Belgium drawing 1-1 with Egypt. And then Uruguay drawing 1-1 with Saudi Arabia. And let's start first with the Spanish national side, who came in as the betting favorites into this World Cup. And I guess we could talk about personnel with Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams, but with the players that were on the pitch, where did it go wrong in your minds as it relates Spain in an attacking sense?
Yeah, look, Luis de la Fuente has done an outstanding job to make Spain European champions. What he did not do a good job with was the lineup selections. And the big elephant in the room was starting Gavi at left wing. Gavi at left wing, who's very fortunate to be on the Spanish national team. He's in the team because of the injury to Fermin Lopez. So that has to be said. But it just seemed like Spain was trying to walk the ball into the back of the net. And I didn't see many Spanish midfielders, Spanish attackers looking to just take shots from distance, number one. And Cello, you know this from being a defender at the highest level, that when you're playing against a low block, it's almost easy when you're facing a team that's trying to crowd the ball in the middle of the box or walk the ball in. I was looking for maybe Pedri to hit one from distance. Other players hit one from distance, and this Spain team looked a shadow of themselves without Lamine Yamal.
Without this young man, they can't win. They can't win the World Cup. Movement of the ball, slow. Wrong attitude, and I'll say it, wrong attitude when they walked on the field. They thought this was going to be a walkover. We're going to win easy. We can walk it around. Eventually, we'll get our goal. Slap in the face to them. Let's be honest. This group here, you know what? Like I said, with him in there, when he came in, 10 minutes of electricity. He created things. He ran down the line. He moved. He was creating certain things. Without him, it was very slow. It was very methodical. It was just not the Spain we see. Anytime you move the ball from here to there and there to there slowly, we can shift our lines, and that's what they did. They shifted perfectly every time because there was such ball movement that was so slow. So they need some changes, but they need to change their attitude.
But isn't it concerning, guys, though, especially with Yamal recovering from an injury? You're trying to go all the way and play 8 games of this tournament. Isn't it concerning that one player is that essential, especially a player who's returning from injury?
Yeah, and it goes back to some of the lineup decisions. One player that I think is essential to Spain, and a lot of people will highlight Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal, but let's not forget Dani Olmo was a big element of why Spain had success. And we see this for Barcelona, Woody, where how many times have we come in with Barcelona, covering Barcelona matches, we're against a low block. Why do you not start Dani Olmo? Dani Olmo was made to break down low blocks. He does it in La Liga. He's done it in the Champions League before, and he's done it for the Spanish national team. And it just seemed like Luis de la Fuente tried to get a bit too cute. Playing Pedri as a number 10, I was scratching my head. The last time we saw Pedri start as an attacking midfielder for Spain was Euro 2020 against Italy in the semifinal. We've seen Pedri and Rodri just get that extra dimension and just that chemistry playing deeper alongside each other. You had too many players with similar profiles. You don't need Fabian Ruiz and Rodri in the same midfield against a low block. Dani Olmo is the X factor in that midfield, and I think this is a big game for him.
I love it because we're making such a huge deal over one game.
Right.
But it's who they played.
Of course.
It's who they played. But look, you look at player for player, this is a fantastic team, right? So one game. We'll judge them tomorrow. We'll see how they do. And if they don't do their job, then we'll talk about it again. But when you talk about a favorite still and you talk about a team with quality players, they have it. We just expected more, and we expect a lot more from these guys. So I think that's why we're stepping on them a little bit, maybe to see if we see a little bit of what a world champion could have.
And let's move then to another team we might expect a bit more from. That, of course, is Uruguay, who are facing the very same Cabo Verde team that Spain drew 0-0 with. Let's talk about Uruguay. And I think it's kind of a similar story in terms of frustration in attacking moments. When, we can talk again about personnel, but I think one of the things that we saw is just flurries of crosses. They were trying to win the game almost with volume and with shots and trying to overwhelm Saudi Arabia rather than play through them with quality. What did you think of their approach in the game against Saudi in Miami?
I thought Marcelo Bielsa got it completely wrong in the first 45 minutes. I thought he actually wasted 45 minutes, and it took him 45 minutes to realize that he needs to build this team around Fede Valverde. He had him playing right midfield, which is something we didn't even see all throughout qualifiers. Fede Valverde is a central midfielder, and I know you can take the sample size of what he did under Arbeloa at Real Madrid, but that's a flash pan. That is a desperate moment from Real Madrid and Arbeloa, and it's a Herculean moment from Valverde in the Champions League against City. Everything changed when Valverde came centrally, and the subs really changed it. You can go through it. Sanabria has to start at left back, and Canobio has to start at right wing if you're going to play a 4-3-3, which is how they have to approach this. If there's one name that cannot be in the starting 11, Cello, Darwin Nunez. If it's Darwin Nunez in the 11 and not Viñas, I'm going Cabo Verde money line. You heard it here. I don't even know the odds. That's your next bet I'm going to place for you.
No. Just teach me because I'm lost. There's been issues with this team for a while now. And we all know between Bielsa and the players, there's a little of miscommunication, we'll say. I think it's starting to affect them on the field because it's not the same Uruguay we saw 2 years ago in qualifying, the way they qualified. So unless they straighten that out, or the players decide we're going to play for ourselves, but they're a talented team. I mean, would I put Nunez in? Probably not.
Say no. Please say
Probably not. Only because, again, this team runs around Valverde. Simple as that. That's it. But he needs the ball more. But when you see this team defensively, they're okay. Muslera, good goalkeeper, even though he's a little older. So at the end of the day, again, we're going to talk about all day. Unless you have a 9 that can score goals, an outright 9, you better have a 7 and 11 who are phenomenal that can get in the box and create problems with your 10.
Yeah, very, very small detail, Woody. Viñas does a very good job with a big frame of holding the ball up and fighting for headers. But the biggest miss is De Arrascaeta from Flamengo. Nico de la Cruz can hit goals. We've seen it in previous World Cup cycles. I think going into the 2022 World Cup, and between that and Copa America, he really elevated himself playing for River Plate during that time. He needs to step up and fill that void because you really see the lack of goals. There's no Luis Suarez. There's no Cavani. So someone needs to step up to get goals in the final third. This could be the match for him.
And, of course, Cabo Verde just spent their last 90 minutes frustrating Spain, so they'll hope to do the same to Uruguay on Sunday. Moving then to Belgium, who I think struggled through the first 65 minutes, you could probably say, against Egypt. This is the story. I mean, there is Doku, who, by the way, is going to miss this game against Iran with a personal issue. We have Kevin De Bruyne, Charles Ketelare, but Cello, for as much as you are chanting for Lukaku, for as much as it seems like this team needs him, he's still a player who played 40 minutes of league play in Serie A this season. He doesn't have the fitness. Can you start him? Can you play him 45 minutes and then try and build him into the tournament? And if you are reliant upon Romelu Lukaku to be your main man up front, are you a team that is sort of out of answers because he's not going to be able to sustain it?
I don't think you can start him. I don't think he can go 90 minutes. And if you're ahead, you're okay. If you're losing, they put him in the other day, even though it was an own goal, but that big frame, that run he makes the defender a little nervous when you got a big body trying to fight him off. And it's very difficult physically. So this is a good team. We've seen them play. At the end of the day, this goes around De Bruyne. We all know that. So when I look at this team, I didn't think he had the ball enough the other day for me. I didn't think they were finding him. I thought they were just playing and hoping they would get down the wings. But when I look at this, De Bruyne to me is it. He needs to get the ball. And yes, they're a good surrounding group. I don't have them as one of my favorites. I think they're a solid team, but Trossard over there, I mean, had a decent game, not great. But again, for me, Lukaku is going to be a very huge part of this team in the second half.
Yeah, the big domino and the big guessing game that Rudy Garcia has to really figure out is, for me at the World Cup, and this is the World Cup, not the Champions League, not Serie A. Charles de Ketelaere was serviceable for Atalanta as a false nine in Champions League and in Serie A. For me, not for Belgium. Belgium cannot win significant matches at the World Cup without Romelu Lukaku playing as the lead striker. It just wasn't working. So that was a big reason why you weren't seeing Kevin De Bruyne. And Amadou Onana, I'm sorry, brother. I'm a big fan of yours for Aston Villa. But Kevin De Bruyne needs to sit next to Yuri Tielemans. And one player that's going to be the one that I think steps in, that plays attacking midfield for Club Brugge, Jans van Aken. Yeah. I would love to see him. He came in late on in the match. He had more of an impact in maybe a smaller sample size. I don't even know the minutes. It was 10 minutes. Was it even less than that? He had more of an impact than Kevin De Bruyne did as a number 10. So there's no world where Kevin De Bruyne does not start from Belgium. I'm not saying that. I just think to get the best,
back into a 6.
I want him in a deeper role next to Tielemans where you can get more possession. I watched the game against Croatia where they played in a friendly, and De Bruyne was pretty much dropping deeper and collecting the ball and hitting 70-yard passes like the Kevin De Bruyne we know he can do. He's already played that position in the 2018 World Cup. So I think getting your two best midfielders on the ball to dictate possession, dictate tempo, draws a lot of focus to them and creates enough gaps for Romelu Lukaku when he gets in. We don't know when he's going to get in, but we know he's going to play.
De Bruyne's a little older. Yeah. He's not going to run as much, so you've got cover, so he should be able to flow. You put him back in here, you're asking him to do a lot of defensive work for something at his age he probably can't do right now. So I think that's why false 9, do you want to go as a 10? I think that's why they have him there, so he has a little bit more cover.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Belgium, the other thing, too, that could change for them is just the way the game is played. Egypt set in, were very defensive. Iran played a very open game with New Zealand, so you wonder if that might favor Belgium that little bit more. But it used to be fascinating games on a Sunday. We have much more Golazo Network on the way. Stay with us.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. They're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt. What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This this business, we'll bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
One last game in the FIFA World Cup on Saturday into Sunday. It's a midnight Eastern kickoff for Monterrey, as it is Japan taking on Tunisia. Tunisia losing by 5-1 in their opener against Sweden, which of course saw the sacking of their manager. Japan drawing 1-1 with the Netherlands, getting a late equalizer. And so it is all to play for in this Group F. Tunisia still with a chance to get out of this group, but Hervé Renard's going to have to get a tune out of this team. It is an incredible story. We have a manager sacking in the middle of a tournament, and now we'll see how that plays out on the field. Let's get into the starting 11s for this one. And guys, I think we have to look at these teams sort of through a bit of a different lens as a result of the managerial change. We'll start with Hervé Renard's group in terms of his first match in charge. What can he do differently than what Sweden got wrong against Sweden?
Yeah, well, getting attackers on the field and getting some of your balance in midfield right. In the first match against Sweden, it was almost as if saying, hey, Swedes, come score goals, right? You play with Alexander Isak, you play with Viktor Gyökeres, who looked like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, part 1 and part 2. It was embarrassing from Tunisian football. It was embarrassing from the federation. But this lineup is not embarrassing, Woody, because there's a bit of balance in it. Omar Rekik scored the only goal in that match. He's a good set-piece target. He's the leader of the back line. He's aggressive, and he has support in this back five. His ability to step out but also come back in to the back line is going to be important, and it's good to see Hannibal Mejbri playing and giving balance in this midfield three with Skiri and Ben Silmani, who plays for Norwich City. Mejbri is the one that's going to have to be calculated about when he bombs forward and gets back. And that's the balance that we see at the highest levels is midfielders that know when to gamble. We saw it in the match against Curacao, where you had players like Juninho Bacuna, who was playing in an advanced role, but then also did the dirty work on the defensive side of the ball. And that leads me to this. If you're a Celtic fan, and if you've been frustrated with Sebastian Tenekti, I see your pain. But if you're a Tunisian football fan, now is the time for redemption for him, because we've seen it, Cello, that what you do at your club level does not matter when it comes to international football. It can be a new chapter and a new beginning for him. This is a redemption arc, hopefully, that we'll see for Tunisian fans.
How do you fire a coach after the first game? I don't understand. I still don't get it. I mean,
but now they can salvage it.
How
they can salvage their life.
What can a coach come in 4 days and give you structure? Okay, we're going to play 5 in the back, defend well.
You're the one who played. Tell me. Can the coach do something? Even if it's just
difficult.
from a spirit standpoint, getting a better feeling in the group.
I mean, okay, you got a better feeling. Is that going to make you win a game? He wants to put his tactics. How do you put your tactics in 4 days? You know, I mean, you got to rely on each individual to do their job and do it very well for 90 minutes to have a chance. But I think they're set up for failure. You don't fire a you know what? You fire the coach before the World Cup starts if you're not happy with him.
Yeah,
simple as that.
I mean, it was a massive error from Tunisia, and of course they lose their opener 5-1. Let's talk about Japan then. And we were talking, Cello, during the break about how much you really like this Japan team, and you're fired up to see them in another game.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited only because you talk about discipline. This is a disciplined team. They move their lines well together. When you talk about Kamada, you're talking about a great player in the middle of the park with Tanaka, who are very solid, very good movement along with the back three. The back three next to Ito, tight. They keep the three. They move back. Nakamura will slide back. Donna will push into the right. But this is a team that moves very well as a line, and they hit you really quick on counterattacks. So for me, I'm looking at a team that is surprising to me because I haven't seen them play a lot, but a team for me that is disciplined. And when you got Suzuki in goal, he's going to have a good game too. But again, this is a team that when you talk about movement of the ball, discipline, knowing tactically what their coaches want, this is a fantastic group.
And certainly the manager, Moriyasu, responding to, I think, what worked in the Netherlands game in the second half. It's 5 changes from that match. Obviously, the headline is no Takekubo. He came out of that game against the Netherlands with injury, but Tanaka comes in midfield, did not start in the game against the Netherlands, and Tomiyasu, who's in that back three as well. It seems as though the manager responded well to what he saw in the second half and brings the changes as a result.
Yeah, look, this is a Japanese side that the collective sum of the parts is the most important thing. There is no one player who's bigger than the rest of the team. That's the ethos that's gotten them massive results. I remember watching their friendly against England where they played them off the park, and this is where maybe some of the quality that Matoma and Minamino would have definitely served up to maybe get them result against the Dutch. But one player that I think is going to be massive for them is Sano, who does have that individual moment of brilliance to make the timing of the late runs off the shoulder of Ayasu Ueda. Ayasu Ueda, for as short as he is, he's got a dump truck of a body. He literally, Cello, he'll be posting up like this. He literally looks like Shaq in the paint sometimes. And so you got to feed the bear, but you also have to have runners off of players like that. And I remember covering him in the Europa League on the Golazo Network for our Europa League Today show. And when you get him early service, play through the lines, get the ball to his feet, also get it to his chest, he will fight for space. But now players like Ito and Sano, they have to be brave to run off of him. There's goals in this game. The first goal is going to be massive. If you're Japan, you mention it about a new head coach coming in. Yep. You get an early goal against the Tunisia side. We've been there as players. An early goal will break Tunisia's spirit.
Yeah, especially with what they're looking for in terms of bounce. Is it a John McGinn level backside they were talking?
Oh,
with,
no,
that's special. That's a special.
Not a dump truck.
So, Cello, you talked about it. It seems like Tunisia have kind of bottled it at this World Cup. Are you seeing anything other than a Japan win in this match?
I have a hard time believing with a coaching change at 5 in the back. Hitting you on a counter. I have a hard time believing that Tunisia can win this game. They may be able to pull off a tie. We've seen great upsets, right, throughout the World Cup, but I don't see how Japan doesn't win this game.
And Japan hoping to get 3 points after drawing.
That's a +4.
Yeah, a +4? Okay, that's ambitious. That is Japan taking on Tunisia. Of course, they drew the opener with the Netherlands. Plenty of World Cup reaction still to come here on the Golazo Network.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly